Welcome to episode 134 of The Endless Stream. I'm Aidan, and this week I am joined by Kevin. We are two artists, illustrators, filmmakers, and all-round shit talkers. And each week we take some of the endless stream of content brought to you through Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Prime, wherever you get your content, we take a chunk of it, we watch it, and we talk about it. This week we are talking about Blue-Eyed Samurai, we are talking about Muppets Christmas Carol, we are talking about the new episode of Doctor Who, and we're planning the next few weeks of Christmas seasonal content and goodness. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to the podcast, heading over to iTunes, heading over to Spotify, rating, reviewing, liking, subscribing, all of those good things really help us out. On top of that, you can head over to Instagram at The Endless Cast, where we put up art to go with each episode, and that's a great place to reach out, send us a message, suggest something for us to watch, disagree with our opinions, give us your opinions, and let us know what you think of the podcast all in all. Or you can send us an email at theendlesscast@gmail.com. All of that being said, let's get into the episode.
Good.
This is the 27th of November, 28th by the time this podcast gets posted. It'll be a little bit late, just before we're jumping into the holiday season. Kev and I are doing a little late night record. We had a lovely time out together over the weekend. It was great seeing you, buddy. Good seeing people in person, but it made Sunday tired and not recordable. Then we've got coming up, we're going to have some guests through the holiday season. We're going to start talking about holiday movies. I'm not sure what order anything will be released in. I do know that we are talking about Some Like It Hot in the near future.
Oh, yes.
With Madeline Munford. I was talking to Dylan Smith as well from the Heartfire Tales podcast, so he's going to join us and talk about something, but he hasn't nominated his subject yet. So we're trying to line up some fun for the Christmas season.
Wasn't someone going to watch, or were we going to talk about It's a Wonderful Life?
I was watching It's a Wonderful Life. Have you ever seen it?
I have seen it, yes.
You have seen it. I don't know. Is there a case that someone hasn't seen it? I thought it was Some Like It Hot. No, it's definitely Some Like It Hot. I was looking at the It's a Wonderful Life because I'm trying to put together a Christmas themed show for the cats, for the bag of cats, on December 15th. Come to the Pierce Centre, December 15th in Dublin. We're going to have a cool comedy Christmas show for y'all there. It's a BYOB event, and it's nothing but a good time, so come. I'm kind of encouraging Christmas jumpers, Christmas costumes, dressing up nice and fancy if you feel Christmassy. Santa hats.
And that's on which day is that?
That is Friday, December 15th.
Okay.
In the Pierce Centre in Dublin.
Is that where it was last year?
That's where it was last year, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yes, I'm going to do my darndest to go.
I'd love to see you there.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Awesome.
I recorded also a podcast with Madeline and the Bimbo Plaza crew. I think it was Nathan Hochter as well that day. And it was fun. It was fun. There should be an episode of Bimbo Plaza with me coming on. It is, of course, the morning after the night before, and I look scruffy. She set up a camera and was recording video for it, and I got a glimpse of myself at the end of it. I was like, oh God. But it is it is what it is.
Do you want to see, did you see the picture that Dublin posted of me today?
Yes, leaning against the window.
Yeah, that's out there.
You're a cutie.
It is what it is. They were all the pictures are so serious, and they were trying to they were do something gangster, and I was just all right then. It's yep. Or gangster massive. I don't know what he said, but yeah.
So what's happened since last we spoke? I mean, obviously we watched lots of great things. I think I talked briefly with Brian about Blue-Eyed Samurai on the end of the last one. I suggested you take a look at it. Did you watch the first episode?
I watched 2 episodes, I think, of it.
2 episodes. How'd you find it?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's class. I think it's brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm super, super into it. I want to finish it.
Cool.
I would like if Emer would watch it, because I think she would like it. But failing that, I'm really, really, really enjoying it.
Cool. Can I ask you a quick question? I don't see the mic you're usually holding next to your face, and I don't see the mic that we use on an arm. What are you recording into?
Can you see it?
No.
It's here.
Okay.
I did a test before.
Okay.
I did a test before.
Okay. It's very far from you. All right, whatever.
It's even like it even comes with bread on some parts of the thing, so it should be fine.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
That sounds like a threat. Now I'm
no,
scared.
it's just 132 episodes in. We'll see.
That's only a handful of times I do that. What's your mug? What's your mug there? What's on your mug?
My mug is, I actually really like this mug. It's a collection of props and icons and things from films, and you can go around it and go, what the hell is that? That's Joe Pesci's hat from Home Alone, and that's Life is Like a Box of Chocolates. Like, you gotta, like, it's a good movie trivia mug. Actually, it's pretty appropriate for the pod.
I've got this mug.
It's black, like your soul.
It's not black. It's maroon with, if anything, purpley to white speckles all over it.
All right then. People listening along should be advised it's tea time here. And by that I mean it's the time of the evening when you have a good cup of tea. Good cup of tea.
Good cup of tea. I'm just home. First thing first. Good cup of tea.
It's cold out.
It's cold out.
We're getting warm. I went to the gym there this evening, and I was exercising, and I earned my dinner, and I was pretty proud of myself. I did call out how busy that fucking gym is. It's way too busy. I don't like it. Somebody ripped a wicked fart.
That's offensive.
Wicked fart. Way too close.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think that's horrendous if people do stuff like that.
It's no bueno. And I was doing flies. Like, I was holding the weight and swinging them way out to the side of me. And like lying down horizontal, 20 kilos in each hand. And I'm on rep 11, and some woman just decides to place herself just immediately to my left. And it's like, I'm about to kill you. Like, it was so oblivious. And look, shit happens, but it's always like, gotta keep your eyes open.
It's a funny machine.
Yeah.
Genetic, it's a funny one. It's like,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
Well,
I was just going to say, Jace. Go on, you talk.
I was going to say, like, the last time something like that happened was in that gym in Chicago, and, the guy that, like, walked across my line of action was the owner, and the moment he did it, he was like, oh, I'm so fucking sorry, that's my fault entirely, you know what I mean? And it's like, shit happens, This person was oblivious to the fact that it had even happened. And I was like, motherfucker. Like, I've seen that happen in gyms. I've seen that happen in, like, little training gyms where, like, somebody's holding, like, a 50-kilo kettlebell above their head, and somebody just, like, blah, 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 just dopes themselves in front of them, and, like, it was not the gym, and it was not the place, and it was not the person to do that, and he just dropped the thing and gave a yelling to this person. It's just like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You got to keep your eyes up. There's lives on the line when you're swinging that much weight. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I've gone off on one. What were you about to say?
I don't know. I was going to say, one of the last times I was in the gym, I remember I wanted to do, what was a leg press or something, but I approached this machine 3 times in the space of an hour and was told by the same person, oh no, I can't, they're using that machine. And it's just like, after the 3rd time, I was just like, whatever you're doing, you're taking the piss. Because, like, if I've approached it like 3 times now thinking it was vacant, and then this person gets up from that and they're just like, oh no, actually I'm using that as part of my set. It's just like, I don't think so. Yeah. I just got pissed. I was like pretty pissed off him. But gym etiquette has changed a lot, even so, because I remember going to the gym before camera phones were a thing, and when they started coming in, all the signs all over gyms, no camera phones, no phones out, no, you know what I mean? Like, it was a huge, it was really against gym etiquette to have your camera phone out. People are afraid of, like, getting changed in locker rooms and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of sketchy. I don't know. Is it sketchy? I don't know. But, like,
not everywhere warrants a phone, and we've just completely muddied your waters with that stuff,
Well, the thing is, do I want to go off on, like, my documenting? I don't use a notebook anymore. My app for tracking progress or behavior or exercise and reps is on my phone. I'm listening to music on my phone. I'm talking to you on my phone. The adequate rest time between sets is anywhere from 90 seconds to 3 minutes, depending on what exercise I'm doing. So you're just sitting there waiting for your nervous system to recover before you do another set. So, like, it's kind of understandable why people are on phones the whole time, because it's a pastime, Like, I've got a 3-minute wait, but
Phones in the gym are completely fine if basically like you're not fucking around. I don't even mind people like recording in the gym as long as they're doing it in a way where you can't see anybody in the background. Because like realistically, if you haven't gone around and fucking asked someone if they're okay with being in the background of a video, don't record there.
Yeah. I mean, there's times where like I watched somebody like reading a book, and it's like, you have not moved in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Fucking time to go, mate. I've seen groups just hanging around having a chat. And it's like there's 5 of you standing around a squat rack for the last 15 minutes. Come on, get to work.
That's enough gym talk now.
Gym talk. Okay, this gym
talk
corner
of the week with Jim. So, yes, you had mentioned Blue Eyes Samurai, is that correct?
Blue-Eyed Samurai, you're 2 episodes in. The first fight scene in the Shindo Ren
Dojo.
Well, whatever. The Shindo Ren Dojo. That was so cool. Just fighting with the little wooden swords. You face my Shindo Ren. The problem is that shit's trash. Trash. And she just kicks their asses.
It's savage. It's so good. I love all the characters. I love the characters meant to love. I hate the characters meant to hate. But I love it. It's very, 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 very cool. And Blue Eye Samurai is one of the coolest protagonists I've seen in something in recent years. She's very cool.
Absolutely. I can't recommend that show enough. It's like there's points in it where I'm like, oh, this is getting a little repetitive, but it's also like, no, I could see if you're watching this days and days in advance.
If you're not watching it in one big session. Yeah, I don't get to binge shows too often, to be fair.
A little recap isn't a bad idea. There's a couple of musical cues in there as well where I'm just like, did this need to be a rock and roll or a hip hop or a pop song? Like, did this need to be... Like, everything felt like Edo period traditional up until this moment, and now it's like, bum, 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 chicka, bum, ba-dum. Like, it's like that Kill Bill stuff. Like, I don't know, it's kind of jarring, but at the same time, it's not inappropriate for sort of like 1970s martial arts films, you know, so it's sort of like kind of, I see what they're referencing.
I watched the first 2 episodes and I took a break and I watched the latest episode of Invincible. Whatever I don't know.
How are you finding the new season of Invincible?
So, I'm enjoying it. It's moving super fast.
Really?
But my customer today, Vic, shout out to Vic, said they're on a break now till February.
Oh, they're just pausing?
Apparently
I hate that. Are we not in it?
They did that last time as well, as far as I remember.
Mid-season fucking breaks. I'm still saying we're past like old model TV releases. This is crazy.
But also, it took you 2 years to bring out the new season.
Yeah. I also don't hate them for that. Take your time and do it well. But
I get the impression though you're not vibing on it.
I just haven't. It's the week by week release. I haven't gone back to it.
I don't mind that.
I haven't gone back to it. I watched the Atom Eve special they released about 6 weeks before it came out. Loved it. And I started it there, but then I just saw like only 2 out of however many episodes released are released, and I'll dig into it. I will.
There's 4 episodes now, but
yeah. There's things in that book that were just written a while ago by like 90s white dudes, so you know they're going to retcon them away. Is Mark going to get raped by that Viltrumite lady? We don't know. It definitely happens in the book. She finds out that he is the son of Omniman, the heir of like the strongest Viltrumites, and she wants some of that seed for her offspring, so she sort of repeat visits him against his will. Because he is but a child and she is a more powerful older lady.
I might see about getting those omnibuses. I think I have some at home though.
Get the 3 Ultimate Invincibles.
What's that? What do you mean?
I think are they called Ultimate Invincible? They omnibus them basically. There's 3 of them. 3 volumes that are just like chunk, and it's the whole run.
Yeah, like they released these new volumes of them recently. They're very small looking, like smaller shape than even a comic book and stuff. But I like the look of them. But I don't know how much of the comic is in there, you know. And I don't want to be buying tons of hardbacks. That's why I'm slightly considering.
Best way is the 3. I got Chris one for I got Chris one for like a Christmas. I think I actually just sent it to him out of the blue, and yeah, he got the other two. And he's just like,
Yeah,
it's a fun book.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cory Walker for the first couple of issues. I'm always going to be a fan.
Cory Walker's art is so good. I'd like to think he's pretty deeply involved in the animated end of things, but I could be wrong. I don't know. That guy's a mystery to me. Mainly because I haven't looked. Huh?
He's not doing much comics anyways lately, and he doesn't really do much social media except for his Blogspot years ago, which is really, if you ever want to see his Blogspot, check it out. It's
he never did much social media stuff.
No.
And he drew comics up until he sort of like ran out of like the deadline demands were just too ludicrous. I think for him, he was just like, I draw slower than this. It's not going to work. I'm putting a character on him, but that's my understanding of it. Like he's just not that zippy. I think he works in animation.
I think so.
I'm not sure if that's editing, video, storyboarding, or what, but like, Booker draws great. It's real, just so minimalistically beautiful.
Yeah, his design sense.
Yeah. What is the absolute minimum requirement for things on screen? Yeah. And that's what he does.
That's why one of my favorite books of all time is Destroyer.
That's your boy.
One of my faves. But he only had a very short run really in comics. He did Super Patriot, Invincible, Battle Pup, and Science Dog. He did Spider-Man, Marvel Team Up, I Heart Marvel, the Irredeemable Ant-Man, the Punisher War Journal, and Destroyer. And Destroyer is actually probably one of his biggest jobs with 1 to 5 issues. Marvel Team Up, he did 5 issues of that. But and then he did Shadow Pact for DC. That's all his comic credits.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, a way off with them, but like if you're listening to this and you like a good comic book artist, check out Cory Walker's limited stuff. You can own all of it pretty quickly and easily. It's just so beautifully simple, like myself.
Yeah, this is true. You are beautifully simple.
Thanks so much.
Beautifully simple ignoramus.
I watched the new Doctor Who episode. Doctor Who has returned.
Okay, gross.
Oh, what do you mean? Okay, gross.
Not a Who fan.
Not a Who fan?
Not a Who fan.
Okay. Well, it's Russell T Davies returning with David Tennant. And I'm going to say the character name is Donna Noble, but I've forgotten her name. Catherine Tate.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what she said. I was never a big fan of the Noble Tennant era. I wasn't a big Catherine Tate fan through that era, but like it's kind of good to see a really straightforward Doctor Who episode again. Just a monster being hunted and running around and shooting. It's fun. The previous era Doctor Who, Christ almighty, my brain is fucking fucked.
It was the lady from
Jodie Whittaker. The previous era Who Doctor with Jodie Whittaker, that writer took some big swings, but it just never quite landed. Unfortunately,
wasn't that Jodie Whittaker person? They were kind of massively fucked over in the sense of being the first female Doctor Who, wasn't it? And it was during a pandemic or something, but there was loads of things that happened that they were kind of just like they were given the short end, apparently.
Jodie Whittaker was given the short end.
I believe so.
Yeah, look, the for me, what it boils down to is Chris Chibnall's writing. I think it's Chris Chibnall. Like,
was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, between Russell T Davies and the Stephen Moffat. After the Russell T Davies and the Stephen Moffat area, Chris Chibnall is just unfortunately was not the guy. And if you've got a brand new Doctor and a brand new writer, and not that he was like, he might have written previous episodes, I can't remember, but like show running the whole damn thing, so much of it felt like a fucking history lesson as opposed to a fun Doctor Who show. Like Doctor Who throws history at it, but like it felt very preachy and very lectury, like you were in a history class rather than like watching a fun episode of Doctor Who. And then they tried to retcon the Doctor's whole history, and like there's no I just got a job rejection. That's what's distracted me that time.
Who was that for?
Powerhouse, who do Castlevania and such.
Okay.
Thank you so much for reaching out. There isn't a current need for your services. However, we can start with this freelance contact form that you can fill out for us. This will give us necessary information. Okay, maybe that's something.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I'm sure that's a full-owled.
You get a day on that for yourself.
A full-owled file. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did you say?
I said you get a day out of that for yourself.
Unfortunately, it's terrible that she got so short shrifted, because it was such a joke from even Community that like they tried a female doctor and it didn't work. And she's great, she's lovely, she's charismatic, she's fun, but she's just got shitty stories and kind of saddled with just didn't work, to my mind anyway. So, I mean, it even goes to show that, like, how much money did the BBC pay, I don't know, Russell T Davies and David Tennant and everyone to come back to just kind of like, okay, we're going to try this again, but let's get everybody back on board real quick by bringing back everyone's favourite and sort of just like drawing eyes back to the screen for a minute. It also helps, to my mind, that Disney have now bought distribution rights at the very least, but they've bought into the Doctor Who thing, so they're throwing money at it.
Oh, wow.
Big style. So visually it's getting stronger as well. Of course, there are just the usual dorks reactions to a lot of stuff in it. There's some pretty heavy-handed messages thrown out at the same time. But it is fun. David Tennant's fun. Yeah, it was a fun episode. And I look forward to watching. I think he's got 2 more before they switch to the next Doctor at Christmas. Nkudi Gatwa, who's in Sex Education.
Oh, yes, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you know they did a fun... did they do a fun thing? I don't know how I feel about this. There's a BBC movie called An Adventure in Space and Time, which is kind of a biopic of the people involved with making Doctor Who. And it's got like the guy that plays Filch in Harry Potter playing William Hartnell, and he's like this Shakespearean actor, or this old British actor that they've convinced to do this children's show. And, you know, he's not on board, but by the end of it, he's like loves it, and is kind of sad to be going when they come up with this regeneration thing. And it just, it's like a little biopic of the people involved in creating this institution. And at the end of it, as he's regenerating, or as he's sort of like doing his last scene, he looks to his left and you see Matt Smith standing there because he's getting a look at like what the Doctor will become in the future, right?
Yeah.
Well, they aired that show there over the weekend, or they aired that movie over the weekend, and they replaced Matt Smith with Nkudi Gatwa. So he looks over and Nkudi's there.
Well, that's pretty clever.
That's pretty clever. But do they do that every time there's a new Doctor? Are they?
Well, no, but didn't they do something like that kind of in, Star Wars, or they went back and there was like,
But like, if I go to buy a DVD of Adventure in Space and Time 15 years from now, are there going to be like 5 alternate endings where you can see whichever Doctor you want at the end of it?
Fair. Yeah. That would be, no, that'd be a bit excessive, but it's cool that they did that,
Yes.
Yes. So there's going to be 2 more of the David Tennant Doctor, and then they're going to go with the new Doctor.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting, if true. Yeah, no, it's just something I never really got into.
Well, I understand. I understand. It's not...
I never watched it. I'm sorry, Susie. I never watched it, but was aware of it growing up and aware of the Daleks in particular. I think my parents told me about them and stuff. But then I watched, what they call it. I remember when Chris Eccleston? You're frozen again. It was Chris Eccleston, I think, or something, that kind of brought the Doctor back for a while. Or he was the first Doctor after years of not being the Doctor Who. I'm just nattering on here because Aiden's got frozen on me. He's back.
I'm back.
Or was it Christopher Eccleston? Is that the guy?
Christopher Eccleston was the relaunch in 2005. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I remember that. See, I remember that when that was kicking off, but never was into it.
You think he only did like 6 episodes?
Really? Look at that.
Ooh.
He
6
was
or
a
8.
big name to get the time, though.
He did 1 season and then was like, I'm out. And then Tennant took over.
Was it Tennant after him?
Yeah, Tennant. And then Matt Smith, then Peter Capaldi, then Jodie Whittaker.
Oh, wow. Jesus, that feels like... How many seasons did Tennant do then?
Tennant was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5?
5.
So the show was 2005 or 4, because I only know because Matt Smith was 2011, I think.
10 is great.
2010.
If you ever watch Broadchurch, it's a hard watch, but it's good.
Okay.
But it's a hard watch. Just, be warned. The ending left me shook.
Oh, no.
And then season 2 kind of wasn't as good, really, but season 1 was phenomenal. It's Tennant and Olivia
Colman?
Ullman, yes. Yeah, Coleman, yes, yeah. And she is phenomenal. It's actually Broadchurch. Watch it in.
There's too much to watch. And I also don't like to be harrowed.
It's a crime show.
I'm quite the candy ass.
Olivia plays a kind of local police officer hoping to become, I think, sergeant or detective or something. And then when a murder happens, they call in the top brass from London, Scotland Yard. And this Tennant, and they have an interesting relationship, to say the least. Why is Scotland Yard called Scotland Yard?
I don't know.
And it's not in Scotland.
Let's Google it. Why is it called Scotland Yard? The name derives from the location of the original Metropolitan Police headquarters at 4 Whitehall Place, which had its main public entrance on the Westminster street called Great Scotland. So the street was called Great Scotland. The yard in front of the building was called the Yard at Scotland. So it's Scotland Yard.
Yeah, that's disappointing. But what else was there?
I watched a Belgian-Dutch crime series called Undercover from 2019. It's on Netflix. Pretty good.
The Scandinavians do murder TV quite well.
Yes. It is based on a true story, as far as I know. Though to what degree it's true, like the people who would say it's based on are like, you're ripping my life off, we're suing you. And the production company are like, no, there's no connection to, it's purely coincidental. So there's this border town, there's this region that's on the border between the Netherlands and Belgium that is pretty big for the ecstasy trade.
Oh, wow.
And there was one guy a lot of gang activity there, apparently. And there was one guy that was like running a lot of ecstasy trade from like a campsite, like a, I don't know, the continent, right? You go and you hang out in your campsite with your cabin and your barbecues and your local little community. Mm-hmm. So he had his like mansion house or whatever. Mansion house? He had his sort of house, and then he had this little campsite where he ran shit. And the police put a couple undercover in the campsite, and they had to get close to this guy over a period of time and catch them doing drug shit. I don't know that they had to do drugs, but they then chose some of them chose to do drugs. Some of them chose infiltration, some of them chose seduction. There's road trip adventures, there's
penetration.
Oh.
Actually. I think it'd be terrifying to be a police officer, or undercover police officer, or police person. And but have to do drugs. That'd be awful.
Yeah, like don't say anything while you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be scary. That would be terrifying. But okay, interesting.
But it's a good show, and there's a guy called Frank Lammers who is playing the kingpin character, Ferry Bowman, and apparently it was popular enough that there's like a prequel series of Ferry and like a standalone movie of him, and then there's a couple of other series spin-offs of like Undercover. So again, I laugh at that because I'm just like, so how much of this is true then? Like, you had to be just like, whether or not a thing happened, now you're making shit up, like,
Yeah. But like, man, look, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based on a true story. You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely fucking nothing like what it's based on, and they've been making sequel after sequel. You know what I mean? Like, they've stretched that truth beyond recognition, like literally.
Wait, what happened? Tell me the story of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So, have you seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I've seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like, what's the true story on which it's based?
The true story on which this is based is it's a story of a gentleman called Ed Gein,
Really?
Do you know who Ed Gein is?
I know who Ed Gein is, but like I didn't
Yes.
realize it was connected to Texas Chainsaw.
Just the fact that Ed Gein had a nipple suit and flesh masks and all these type of things that inspired Leatherface.
Right.
So when they say it's based on true story, they just mean there was a man
Who had some skin.
by the name of Eddie Gein, and Eddie was more of a grave robber and cannibal than he was a murderer. He possibly murdered 2 people, potentially 3, I think. I think there was a hunting accident with his brother that people say could have been intentional. He may have killed his mother, I can't remember. And then he killed a lady that looked like his mother. But he actually he robbed graves. And he would have robbed graves of women who fit the stature and aesthetic of his mother, basically.
Right.
And he'd make like, skin lampshades and nipple belts. And he had, I think he had blinds. He had his flesh blinds with lips at the bottom of them, and he kissed them. And strange guy. But Harold Schechter, I don't know if you know who Harold Schechter is.
I don't know who Harold Schechter is.
Very, very, very famous name in the true crime world. And another person that we know, well, you might know the name of, we don't know him personally, we're fans of his work. I'm a fan of his work. Eric Powell. Eric Powell and Harold Schechter did a book called Did You Hear What Eddie Gein Done? And I have it. And I also have it lovingly signed by author and artist.
Oh, wow. Have they got it like... They've got the interior of that book with a page specifically to be signed by author and artist?
Here is a limited edition of Did You Hear What Ed Gein Done? It's signed by the author. Blah, 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 blah. I bought it. I think I got it. I think I backed it on Kickstarter or something. Because I have a Patreon solely because of Eric Powell.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then Crom after the fact. But but it's like this is a true story. It's obviously based on the whole the Ed Gein thing, with beautiful just black and white artwork by Eric Powell.
Cool.
I know that's not very good.
No, it's gone blurry because it's not a face. But
yeah,
that's
great,
awesome.
Great though, Eric Powell. And he has another book coming out this year, and I will be definitely getting it. But when it comes to the stores, I don't think he's doing anything with this one except for releasing it. But it's the 4 Came at Christmas.
Okay, that's the name of the book. The 4 Came at Christmas.
Yes, and I think it's a reimagining of A Christmas Carol.
Oh,
the 4 being Ghost of Christmas
Marley.
Present. Yeah.
Marley, past, present, and future.
Yeah.
What's your favourite version as we enter the Christmas season of A Christmas Carol?
Muppets.
Muppets
Christmas Carol. Yes.
It is Muppets. There are people for whom that answer is Jim Carrey.
That's fine.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Well, didn't they edit they kind of edited the Muppets from what we remember? They got rid of that. They got rid of that bit.
Oh, it's back.
Oh, is it back? Okay.
It's back. They made a big thing about it coming back. There's a song called "The Love Is Gone," which happens during the Ghost of Christmas Past sequence that was in theaters, I believe, but was removed from DVD release. I even had it on home video.
I must have had it on home video, man,
Yeah.
because I remember the scene. It's where the young him is singing to the girl.
The love is gone. It's the dreariest song in it, but it is the emotional heart of the film. As a child, I was like, we can fast forward this.
Yeah.
But by the time you get to the end of it and they're sitting around the dinner table and he's singing "The Love We Found," it's like, oh, okay, that's the whole arc of the character. To throw that song onto the ass end of the movie without it being there where it needs to be, where he lost his shot at a real human connection and stuff, it's a big mistake. And it was the Eisner guy, Michael Eisner.
Yeah, I know.
Michael Eisner, not Will Eisner. Will Eisner's a comic book artist. Yeah, apparently he and his era of executive were like, this is dragging it down, remove it.
Okay. Great movie. My favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah. Top-notch Michael Caine.
I think I watched it. Speaking of Michael Caine, I have a segue for you now in a second, but I watched it. I think I watched it like...
It's in the singing of the street.
I never get bored of it. It's
going home and getting warm by the fire.
I've watched it pretty consistently.
Yeah. It's also incredibly tight. Like, one scene leads straight into the next, leads straight into the next, leads straight into the... Like, it's zippy.
Yes, it's zippy, exactly. It's so engaging. It's so much fun. It's by far my favourite Christmas movie, and it makes me excited for Christmas. As in, like, it gives me the Christmas feels. A Wonderful Life is a lovely Christmas movie, to be fair. And I would have only really watched that in the last, say, like 5 years and have grown to appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think A Muppet's Christmas Carol
The Muppets is so lively, and Michael Caine is doing an amazing job as...
even the Scrooge and stuff, yeah. Speaking of Michael Caine, I watched another one of his great movies last night.
What did you watch?
2000s.
Miss Congeniality?
Miss Congeniality, starring Michael Caine, Sandra Bullock, and Benjamin Bratt.
Brat.
What is it?
Brat.
Benjamin Bratt. I think he's great. I just
yeah,
like, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, what is his name?
Have you seen Miss Congeniality?
Yes.
Was that your first time seeing it, or
no?
No. Okay. What put that on for you? How did you arrive at Miss Congeniality?
I think I was just feeling, a little bit tired, a little bit low.
Yeah.
Dare I say? And I just thought, you know what? It'd be fun to put on, because Emer had also seen it and enjoyed it when she was younger, and I was just like, you know what? It'd be fun to put on just some, basically, old school nostalgia. I don't have to think, this is fun movie.
The equivalent, because that's what my brain does, is like, how old is that movie? If I were still in the 90s, which my brain thinks I am, if it was 1995, it's like me watching a movie from 1970.
Yes.
Wow.
See, now, kind of came out in the 2000s, so it came out 23 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is fucking scary enough. Because, like, Miss Congeniality in my head probably came out, like, 2007, 2006. You know what I mean?
Man, don't even get me started on Notting Hill.
1998?
98, yeah?
I don't know. When was that?
I feel like it's 94, 95.
Yeah, the only reason, well, you're a little bit older than me, so I don't think I was too young to really watch Notting Hill, but I was probably, maybe it was 2000.
Notting Hill was 99, to be fair.
99, I was just going to say, maybe it was a little bit later.
It's just one of those things that was just on all the time, so I've got this permanent picture in my head of it being a new film.
But like, totally, and I totally get that. And like, it's like Love Actually. Love Actually in my head is just like, that's a recent enough movie. And
20 years.
That's ancient, yeah. Yeah. But I think, like, when I was a child in the 90s, and I watched, say it was 95, and I watched a movie that was from 75, that's
20 years prior.
20 years. Yeah, okay, so that's 20 years apart, right?
Like Star Wars, basically.
Exactly, right? That movie was cool to me. I could watch that movie. That movie didn't feel old, or like, I would have watched a lot of the Brady Bunch and cartoons from the 70s and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we all did it. We all had the den. I didn't have many channels growing up. Only the few Irish ones, and the few BBC One, like TV, Channel 4. But like, I would watch that stuff now. But I think kids nowadays, it's like they'd never watch anything that was like 20 years old. That's way too old for them. But I think I watched a video about someone talking about it before, and it's only because there's been such a jump, and like, a lot of things have shifted from the type of stuff that kids consume now versus what we consumed, like, and versus what kids consumed in the 70s.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you'd watch in the 90s, you can watch something from the 70s because there wasn't that big a leap in terms of, say, like, technology and all that kind of stuff. Where if kids are trying to watch something in the 90s now, it's just like, what? They have no phones, they have no this, they have no that. It's too old.
Yeah. The old running gag is like, how many episodes of Seinfeld would be immediately like, the problem would be solved if anybody had a cell phone. We got some breaking news from our man on the ground, Brian, our roving reporter.
Yes.
Loki creator Michael Waldron has been hired to write the screenplay for Avengers Kang Dynasty. He was already on board to pen the sequel, Avengers Secret Wars, so they seem to be doubling down on Kang.
Well, the guy who was meant to direct Shang-Chi 2 and Avengers movies pulled out.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go ahead with Shang-Chi and Wonder Man, but then he's out.
He jumped out of the Kang thing, though.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Mm.
Look, I mean, right, like, directors and actors and producers and stuff coming off of Marvel movies isn't unusual. I mean, it has happened. We lost Edgar Wright and Don Cheadle to etc. But
We lost Don Cheadle.
no, we kept Don Cheadle. We lost
Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. But Terrence Howard, from my understanding, isn't a particularly nice person. But he might have drugs and alcohol issues, which if he does, I hope he fixes himself.
Yeah, that's the ask there.
I mean, I'm just happy they're still making Wonder Man.
Yeah. So tell me about Wonder Man then. Let's go into Kev's Marvel corner. Because I read a bunch of Wonder Man stuff, and I know that he was married to the Scarlet Witch, and that for I think some of the early origin of Vision was that Wonder Man's soul, spirit, or mind was put into an automaton. And that's why she fell in love with Vision, because Vision was essentially her husband.
Yeah.
And then they kind of turned that into Vision being a separate entity. And then Wonder Man came back, and then Wonder Man had the jacket, and then Wonder Man had the like starry visage.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah, when he got all plasmy. I use ionic plasma or power or something. Ionic something.
Well, that's the extent of what I can remember. So like, let's start with like, what's his name?
Simon.
Ooh. The moment you said it, I knew it was right, but Simon Wonder.
No. Ah, Jesus. Why can't I think of his name? It is Simon, isn't it?
Yeah, Simon's a good shout. That's a good pull.
Yeah, it is Simon. So basically, the only thing I'd say about Wonder Man before is like, if I remember correctly, but like we know Wonder Man isn't Simon Williams. It is Simon Williams.
Oh.
Wonder Man. To be honest, it's weird. I never met the connection. You know when you kind of hear stuff like, Wonder Woman, Wonder Man. It's like, that's lame, Spider-Man, Spider-Boy. It's like, come on, be more creative now. I never actually put those two together for years in my head. You know what I mean? Like
Wonder Woman, Wonder Man.
Such a different place in my head than Wonder Man. I never thought they were kind of a rip-off or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, even just the name, like. Well, I mean, the most direct one is there's a Captain Marvel and a Captain Marvel, right?
For sure. And then also you have Marvel had Power Man, and then DC came out with Power Girl, and then Marvel DC had Wonder Woman, and then Marvel came out with Wonder Man, and DC were like, here, you fuck off with that, you can't be doing that, we'll sue you. So Marvel were like, oh yikes, okay, pull him, we won't use him, And then DC came out with Power Girl, and Marvel were like, here, come on now, we have Power Man, don't be going away, get out of here with your Power Girl. And DC told them to go fuck themselves. So they're like, all right, well, bring back Wonder Man, he was originally a villain in what was it? Issue 8 of the Avengers.
Wow.
He was a pretty just one second.
No worries.
I want to see it. Yeah. Issue 9? Issue 9. My head's also all over the place, Hayden. He is, look, issue 9 of the Avengers. That was Wonder Man.
That's so funny. Your video just like identified one face on that cover and de-blurred it.
That's hilarious.
Was it Daredevil? No, Ant-Man.
It was Giant Man.
Giant Man.
That's technically Giant Man.
Giant Man's face was recognizable enough as a face for your camera to decide to show it to me.
That's the original Wonder Man. Oh, he was a villain and he wasn't a villain, and he got powers from oh my god, who was it? Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyways, well, I think Wonder Man was killed, and then they put his personality into Vision, and then Vision and Scarlet kind of hooked up, and then when physical Wonder Man came back, it was like conflicting or something. I can't remember what it was, but then he did a stint in Hollywood as an actor, because he's always wanted to be an actor. There's a good run. I think it's called Leading Man or something like that, where him and Beast are living it up in LA. There's just something like he's an interesting character in a sense, I quite liked him when I was growing up, but then again, I just think I liked the random, odd character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just liked liking something alternate, was it?
Yeah. If I'm being honest, that's how I got into like Daredevil and Moon Knight, and like when I was growing up, they weren't like so popular.
Okay.
A little bit. certainly in Athlone or whatever. And then, just different characters. But Wonder Man and his brother is the Grim Reaper. Wonder Man, they did a whole lot of like retconning with him, where he was like, he knew, like basically he was like, he thought he was going to be a superhero. He was originally created as a superhero, but then infiltrated the Avengers, took out some of the Avengers, then redeemed himself or something, and then was killed, and then came back as the rematerialized with new powers and different things or whatever,
Yeah, she kind of pulled him into existence, didn't she?
Was that around that time?
Scarlet Witch is a real Deus Ex Machina. She can kind of make anything fucking happen, huh?
Yeah. Just trying to see something here. But like, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you use them. Former villain turned superhero possessing superhuman strength, speed, and durability. Wonder Man has been a member of the Avengers and has a complex history involving his powers, relationships, and personal struggles. Isn't that every superhero? Thanks for that. Stupid. But I'm quite happy that Yahya Abdul-Mateen is playing him. Because I think he's an awesome actor. But he's considered to have Sentry level strength. I never bother with any of that kind of like, this guy's an Omega mutant, this guy's this thing, and this person's that, because it's just like
they start fucking trying to categorize.
But they'll just it just serves a story. Their power has limitations when it suits the story. Yeah. That's like kind of one of the reasons why I struggle with Superman. Even as a kid, it would just be like, sometimes he's stopping at speed and, train, and the next time he can't stop, like, or he's stopping a meteorite from crashing into the earth, but then he can't stop a train speed, stuff like that. But going back to, because I don't want to get too distracted, Benjamin Bratt, Sandra Bullock, Michael Caine, Michigan Congeniality, fun movie.
Great movie. William Shatner.
Yes, yeah, he's great in it.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock is great.
Yeah, and stunning. I was a big crush on Sandra Bullock in 2000 and 1996 with Demolition Man.
And The Net was a good one. Speed was a good one. But Sandra Bullock, sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I think like, very attractive person, and other times it's just like, looks like Michael Jackson.
Okay. Looks like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Is that in Miss Congeniality?
In lots of things.
Even as you say it, I can kind of picture her with her hair tied back and like a strand hanging down. And I'm like, oh, that does kind of look like the Michael Jackson cover of shit in a sort of like late 90s era. Well, I don't know what to do with that, buddy.
Well, she's still prettier than Michael Jackson, even when she looks like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Anyways, Wonder Man, complex character, huh?
That's the stuff. Okay, so we're doing an hour episode today, right? We've talked a bunch of stuff. We've talked Blue Eye. We've talked some Marvel news.
Invincible.
Let me just check if there's any trailers we didn't talk about. And then, is there anything you want to watch that you can think of that's kind of seasonal for the next time we're on? Did you see Violent Night last year?
Yes, and I really enjoyed it.
Do you want to watch it again?
Yes, I can.
And I'll watch it for the first time, and we'll talk Violent Night the next time we talk, which is most likely you're away this weekend, so probably sometime next week.
Okay, we'll sort it out. We will sort it out. Yeah.
Trailers on the YouTubes. Let's just have a quick look and see if there's anything that we. And
I'm going to brush up a little bit on my Wonder Man lore because.
You want to come back here and school us?
Yeah, but like the thing is, he's just one of those characters that kind of has. It's like he's been messed around, that kind of way. Like I know they all have messy histories, but some of them get like a little bit too messy.
Well, I mean, he's all over the place for me. I like it's going to take a good show or a good movie to like set him up in a way that I give any shit about.
Yeah, I think they really could do something cool with him.
Look, he's just he's a superhero.
Yeah.
And if they make a good superhero movie, unfortunately, I do not see anything in the trailer front that I want to talk about. More Craven reminders, some Madam Web stuff. There's a Mean Girls musical. I think I saw a bit of a trailer for like Andor from like some event where somebody was like putting stuff up on their phone.
Oh, okay.
But no. Okay. The next episode we hear will most likely be myself and Madeline talking Some Like It Hot. After that, it'll be you and me talking Violent Night and whatever happens between here and there. We'll try and have some fun, have some mince pies, have some figgy puddings, have some mulled wines, have some
Eggnog.
Question?
Just want to say, I am watching Squid Game's The Challenge, and it's very good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I am enjoying it. It's really good. First 5 episodes are out. There's more to come. They're very clever. It's a competitive show with real life contestants and all that kind of stuff. They wear squibs. Things are done in a very interesting way, but they also, obviously, it's reality. They're building a narrative, But it's funny, the type of people that kind of step into roles. It's very interesting, But it's unpredictable because at the end of the day, it's a game show. So those people can get knocked off like that. It's very, very enjoyable.
So they've made a real
life
competitive challenge as opposed to the narrative thing. That's crazy. It's good.
It's good fun.
Cool.
Really good fun.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Stick with it because it is good fun.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I tried to watch the Physical 100, but I didn't try hard enough. It took too long.
Though, man.
That's it. The first episode is like, let's meet 100 people.
Yeah.
And I was like, good suffering Christ.
But it's like a lot of the activities on are very one-on-one based.
And they all look the same.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of the shows are all one-to-one competitive stuff. So you're watching a lot of the same things over and over again. It can go on, I think, if I remember, it can go on for episodes of stuff, So it's just like, no. The Squid Games is done in a very clever way. They do the green light, red light. They do the cookie thing where they cut out the shape of the cookie. It's lots of fun. Watch it.
Will do.